Well, if you catch me if I don't know something, I'll have to apologize for that. Tracy Triplets over here, she's going to talk a little bit about water quality, and then we're going to have Suzanne. Yeah, we have something. We have low lift pumps, lifting the water about 70 feet out to the mixers. Of course, we have a flow meter for purposes of for chemical dosing, also for purposes of the Water Resources Department. Is very interested. Working Water Resources is where that's where our water rights are held. Yeah.
Okay, hi guys. My name is Suzanne DiLorenzo, and I am the Water Quality Manager here at ClackamasWaterTreatmentPlant. I know Jim quite well. We worked together at OHSU for a while. We've been
now we're both in water.
Yeah. Now we're both in drinking water.
So.
Yes, we escaped research. So, I heard Rob tell you guys that the plant was kind of remodeled back in '92 and expanded. So when they did that, they put in a whole nice, huge lab, which is actually exceptionally large, in my opinion, for what we do here. So here we are NELAP certified to run Whole Alert 24. You guys know what that is? Cool. Tracy told me that you guys had already done this, and I was going to show it to you. So why do we want to look for E. coli? You guys know? Yeah.
Because it gives you really bad diarrhea.
It gives you basically, yes. But E. coli is also a really good indicator. E. coli can be caused by bacteria for other types of coliforms and other things that are in the system that could make you sick. So if you find E. coli, there's a good chance that you may have some fecal contamination. And so it's actually a really big deal out in the watershed. I've actually run a number of bacterial resource tracking studies where back on the East Coast where I'm from, we were having
our lab in McMinnville.
So the other things that we deal with here are,
Yep.
so I heard Rob also tell you about a magnesium sulfate feed. Did I tell you all about it? The debacle of that? Okay, so, debacle. So the debacle was.
That's a big word for the day, Barry.
Yes, here's the debacle.
That was my big word for the day.
Made
from seaweed.
So what was the deal with the magnesium? Was it magnesium sulfate?
Magnesium sulfate.
So what was?
So here's what happened. Here's the backstory to that. Okay, so we got this well on the south side that I love because it's a debacle. It's kind of a mess. It's really interesting. And so what happened was we found this well and we found out it's drinkable, and so we turn on this well, and then all of a sudden we get dinged big time for lead corrosion in houses on the south side. Not good. Not good. So basically what was happening was when we went back and looked at the water properties, there was a water property that was actually causing lead in plumbing components to leach out of people's home plumbing. So it wasn't in our pipes, it wasn't in the water, it was in, say, somebody's home faucet or somebody's, home plumbing. And so...
Pre-60s.
Pre-70s.
Pre-1985.
And
So-
which areas was this?
Solder and lead.
The solder,
Yeah, they use
exactly.
lead solder. And which area specifically?
Where
Where you live?
outside almost, yeah. So,
Yeah.
Very
here's what
In
we
my
did.
1970s house.
We can come and test for you.
Bring your water.
Experienced any side effects?
Did I read it? It's bigger.
I made that thing. You should read it, but did you get it?
Say yes.
Just say yes.
Anyway.
I'll
go
look when I
there.
get home.
Thanks. Let me know if you got the right one. Okay. So, we went back and looked at the water. We found that it was really, really, really ridiculously high in chloride and really, really low in sulfate. Anyone have any idea why that would cause a problem?
It's more corrosive. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, it is more corrosive. And what happens is the chloride gets into the pipes, and it just, boom, it wants to bind to something. So it picks up the lead, and it falls out into the water, and then off you go, and people are drinking it very, very bad. So what we did was we set up a whole benchtop study here. And we had little jars, and we had our little, couplings, everything, and we basically incubated them with pure well water, with blended water, and then we had additives. We had soda ash, we had magnesium sulfate, we had a couple others. And what we found was the soda ash, in this case, wasn't worth beans. Not working, not doing anything. Just total waste of time, waste of money, and that is really the EPA's recommended solution, right? Add soda ash. What we found was when we add the magnesium sulfate, the sulfate kind of brings that ratio back in balance, right? Because we had a really high chloride and no sulfate practically. So now we're starting to meet a little bit.
So is that a alkalinity issue or a pH issue or
It is neither.
neither?
Neither. It's a galvanic issue. Really.
Oh, okay,
And so
galvanic.
now that we have the sulfate in, the sulfate, lead sulfate isn't as soluble as lead chloride, and so what it kind of does is kind of that we're continuously monitoring, and we were actually able to relate an FDON sensor, but to spikes in our haloacetic acid. So that was our primary finding. It was really exciting.
That's cool. Huh.
Yeah.
My wife's cousin just graduated with a master's degree in watershed.
Yeah.
What,
Good.
what kind of samples do you get here? Like,
In a lab, we just do the color there here.
you don't have to do like pH,
Heavy metals.
or do you do?
Oh,
any
well,
of
we
that?
do pH.
But that's all like automated, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't, do you do heavy metal testing and stuff here?
We don't do it here. We have to send it out. So the machinery that is required for that is quite expensive. And so we haven't found a point, in the reality of the drinking water industry is, we haven't found a point where it would be cost effective for us to buy it. So we've been sending it out. We use a lab down in Portland to run most of our samples. No, Alexin. We use Alexin.
How many times is sample?
Pretty quickly here, the waste valve will open up. Surface washer come on, separate the air. You see the surface washer down there, that's like a converted sprinkler, old school sprinkler. There wasn't a third use here. Case on down below is 40 foot in diameter, 135 feet of sand. So all of the pumps, whereas the cones, the ones that operate, it's just like a calcium. We don't do anything when we have a
What did we just witness? What did we just witness? Just a backwash?
But I'm just guessing because I can't actually do very closely at all.
Go and see all the stuff come off. Yeah. That's why we're doing it, right? Illuminating the backwash. Yeah. Serious.
control. The computer was still monitoring. We had our first SCADA system that back then, and it was all DOS. It was pretty bone stock. So a lot of those controls were done automatically with our just because they didn't part setting up the coagulation. This panel also hinges out so you can service it. And you're welcome to peek back in there. There's no electric in there.
It's going to be filter media.
Yeah, it's good.
So he can actually go without maybe changing any trains on it.
The things actually controlled by the ship.
Vertical turbines? What?
So, the pilot filter, I'm trying to filter. You ever kind of kick this pilot filter on? This isn't the exact media inches, exact size, but it's pretty close.
So that's.
So you see it rising there.
The coal's coming out. Sand utilities for garden sand.
Garden sand.
So any of the coal that settles down in is actually getting pushed.
Well, there's an interface so you can see a mix zone.
Right.
We're pretty healthy. Transition.
And this is just so if you make like a change in polymer or filter aid, you can see it before.
Right.
And it doesn't take an hour to.
Yeah,
before you see it in the
Bring
filter.
the mixer out here quickly over here and look at it. We don't put any filter read on these. We're trying to run these to failure. Actually, kind of put them through the paces. We only run them for like a half an hour. Look at it for a half an hour picture. We wash them, waste them for 15 minutes, put them on, look at them, half hour, 45 minutes, and keep them in agitation. When I first came on, the old way was to run them for hours.